So welcome to our podcast, episode 1. I'm Matt.
I'm Roy.
I'm Jake.
I'm Logan.
Logan and Jake may or may not be full-time.
Depends on how we do
hopefully not.
tonight.
I guess we have to say this as starters. Shout out to Ninth Row Review.
Ninth Row Media.
Right.
Oh, it changed.
Nice.
Yeah, we
Media.
recently changed our branding. We were Ninth Row Reviews before, and as we are putting things together how they should be, we are Ninth Row Media, and we are producing the Yet-to-Be-Named podcast.
We're going to change it every year.
That makes sense. With Ninth Row Media is also, would you call them our role models?
Right.
We
There
are your producers.
sensei. You are our Mr. Miyagi's.
We own you, is what
wax
it is.
on, wax
Yeah.
off.
Well played.
We've been doing this for a while, and you guys came
And
in.
you
and
haven't.
We're helping you get
No,
started.
no.
When you say a while, define a while.
We've been doing the podcast for almost 4.5 months
Yeah.
now.
Okay, so you're pretty new.
Yeah, we're new. We've got
Pretty new.
We're like
but
But you're
Good
doing
release.
good, but like
the-
really
Yeah.
good new.
in the
Better than us new.
we have more than one episode, and technically you don't even have that right
We
now.
don't even have an estimate. This is a dry run.
Yes.
But the nice thing is, we did sit on for all of our listeners, our many listeners. We did sit in, and you guys are huge in Germany.
We've got a huge international presence. Actually, we get a bunch in Asia, a bunch in Europe, Germany, South America, Canada. Like we're all over, which is really weird because I have no idea how they found our podcast.
But more importantly,
So-
Germany, we're the David Hasselhoff of...
Oh,
dang.
Your joke was almost working.
it was
there.
it was almost a success.
You know what? I already did I did one of these podcasts already. All my
I
good
know
stuff's
you're
out the
tired.
window.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. But we had
You spent
we
it
were
all.
having lunch last week, and we have a huge Norwegian contingent.
already.
We had a
Already.
Really.
we had a conference call from Norway,
Yep.
Oslo, if we want to be exact.
And we don't
So-
even know if we're pronouncing that
Now,
right.
now,
Oslo.
you might want to explain a little
Oslo.
bit. How do you two know each other? Like,
Well, that's fine. We met about 8 years ago, friends at work, and we've had lunch pretty much weekly, multiple times a week ever since. The podcast is built from that. We would invite people to lunch with us. We would have a good time, and eventually people wanted to pay to come to lunch with us.
so they buy you lunch.
Yes. They would
actually-
buy us lunch.
That's actually a true
This,
You are
this,
kidding me.
that I like how this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
would,
if the podcast is terrible, just know the lunch
It's
It's really
fantastic.
Yeah.
actually,
what do you usually eat at these lunches? Are these like high class lunches, or are we talking
only
In and Out?
We only go to In and Out. In and Out when we have to pay.
Right.
When other people pay, we'll go to Chicago Fire Pizza
Awesome.
because their wings.
You
their
guys out in
pizza-
Roseville?
Yeah.
Their pizza's not good, but
Yeah,
their
wings are where it's at.
is
Yeah.
on
Right.
point. So
I-
if you just get 40 wings split between 3 people,
That's
the
the way to go.
conversation is great and your heart is not.
Which is better, Chicago Fire or Hooters wings?
I don't know. I've never been to Hooters Wings.
Really?
I've been to both.
Do they-
Chicago Fire wipes his buttocks
Really?
with Hooters. Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty big fan of Hooters wings, but I actually haven't.
I didn't even
done
know
at
they
Chicago
serve food
Fire.
there.
But he goes for
They
the
have an
articles.
awesome website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I just like their TV
Calendars.
show. So anyways,
Their
their
bathrooms.
web show.
Oh, the other thing we do is we could just crush cherry cokes there. It's kind of gay, but
But when you say crush, what do you mean?
we just drink pictures of this stuff until you get so wired that pretty much anything's funny.
Cherry
so then you
Coke.
spend
So-
most of the afternoon in the restroom, right?
Whatever.
Giggling together.
Whatever. Yeah.
Because I'm
And-
sure you go to the restroom together on these lunch dates.
Do
No,
people ask to
not
go with
yet.
you to the bathroom to hear these
No,
discussions
it's
as
not
well?
it's not a chick place. It's just a
No.
thing.
We're talking about your office. Come on, we
Oh,
have
there's-
some
there's
class,
women
Roy.
at the offices. Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, that's how these things started, and we decided that at some point in time we should get it bigger than just the 4 or 5 people that go to lunch with us.
Well, one of the things here also is my brother moved to Norway. And I don't know why I pointed to you like you would care at all about my
Or the
brother.
people would
Or
say.
where he
Norway's
lives.
this
Because
way.
because I'm not Roy,
Yeah.
and Roy
But
knows this.
My brother moved to Norway, and he actually requested that we begin podcasting our lunchtime conversations.
that's true
That's
So he
sweet.
can then download them and listen to what we talk about.
because he missed them.
Yeah.
He missed them. That's true.
So
That's
so
true.
we're dedicating this podcast to your brother then.
Hey,
Josh.
brother.
Well, one of the ideas we had for a name, and this idea is just a shade over 7 seconds old, is Valhalla Rising, to honor our Viking fanship. Is that
Yeah.
a word? Fanship?
So if anybody wants to email us, go to valhallarising@gmail.com, drop us a line, and tell us If you want to, here's the thing. If you want to buy us lunch, we'll come wherever you're at, and you can take
Please,
us to
someone
lunch.
in Norway, buy them lunch.
Wow.
If you want to pay for us to go to Norway to have lunch, we'll do that. We want to actually thank the last people that took us to lunch, and that is Castle Copy Legal Services. So they're, I guess, our unofficial sponsor of our brainstorming sessions.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So there
Very
you go.
nice.
We've taken care of all of our sponsors at this point,
yeah.
and we can move forward. So topics, we're going to go over, the show's going to be a variety of things. We were thinking the things that we're passionate about. We're both parents, so we'll be talking about parenting, the goods, the bads, the uglies. The other thing that we're going to be talking about, am I up to the thing?
Hold on.
You're fine.
Time out. What was funny?
What was funny is that we're both dads, we're parents, and Logan is going to be initiated in his middle-aged manness.
I'm now in a more comfortable crowd.
It's just funny.
Nothing. This is coming
Are
from
you-
an inside joke from our show. I'm usually the older one of the group.
Well, in the Ninth Row Media and our podcast, Logan and I and
Nice
Ryan.
name drop.
Yeah, I know it, right? .com /Facebook /YouTube
Everything.
Either way, there's 3 of us that are married and 2 of the guys aren't, and so we don't belong there. And so now we're hanging out with you guys, and it's like we still don't quite belong with you guys.
Yeah.
Belonging is
Well,
not on the whole like.
You don't have kids?
We don't have. None
I've
of us
got a
have
couple
kids yet.
Oh,
dogs.
so you anything you say will be theory, and we'll
Yes.
laugh
Yeah.
internally at your
Yeah.
theories.
Like
No,
I've-
but
So-
wonderful.
I know what kids
respect
are.
that you think of your dogs as kids. I like that a lot.
Well, if you knew their schedule, they would be.
We can
Oh,
go into
please.
that. What's that?
If you knew his dog's schedule, you might, because I've never met a pet owner that is quite as
we feed our dog twice a day, and so that's a 12-hour schedule. So it's going to have to interrupt either early morning or late night. So
Wow,
I
I
find
don't
it
know.
very. I have never seen somebody as dedicated to their dog schedule as that. I'm not. I'm not.
It was a
hating
puppy,
on it.
dude.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of people
Dog
that
was a
think
puppy.
they're. Do you consider them your children?
no,
Because there's a lot of people that do.
no, yeah, no. I know that there are those that are worse, but I know that I take it a little bit more.
Do you have insurance for your dog?
vet bills?
No. Okay.
I haven't like insured its claws or anything.
Okay.
It's a dog.
Can
but,
you
like,
do that?
You can do anything.
can.
It's California. They
No,
got
it's
laws
true.
for that.
You can
do
marry
whatever.
your dog in
Well,
Wisconsin.
I'll say this: some people do think that their kids,
Oh, yeah.
their pets are like their kids, but
yeah.
Are we talking like cat lady status or?
could be.
Okay.
But like my neighbor Jerry, for example, he thinks his pets are like my kids, and I always say to him, Jerry, listen, I never have to take a vegetable baggie and pick up a steaming turd when I take my 7-year-old for a
always
walk.
go
He also
straight
doesn't
for
have
that
to
one.
pay for his dog's college education.
True is hopefully it'll pass. But the other thing I also say to him is, listen, Jer, when my kid gets sick and I take him to the doctor, there's not an option at Kaiser for me to put them down if they're really sick. So no,
There isn't.
your pets aren't like my kids.
I've been fooled.
So
I don't know.
nonetheless,
I dress my dog just like you dress your kids. I don't see the difference.
there's a huge difference. So anyway, we'll talk about parenting, and the other thing that we're going to talk about is we're huge soccer fans. Are you guys soccer fans?
No.
Not
No.
I kind of am, but that's only because of where I spent a couple years, and they're big in soccer over in Korea.
Okay.
So.
I couldn't play
Little
sports.
bit.
I was always too big.
We will talk about movies, and I know you guys talk about movies, and we want to talk about stuff that you guys normally talk about, but we will not talk
Oh, you're
about
welcome
it
to.
on
You just don't
any
expect to be anywhere as
degree.
good as we are.
I do want to say this about movies. We just listened to your guys' podcast. Well, the tail end of it. I want to do what you guys all do to be able to see that many movies in a calendar year.
Yeah. It's something
no.
that we know
How
is,
many
is short-lived.
how many movies do you think you guys collectively have seen?
It's increased since we started doing the reviews and stuff online. Definitely for myself. I don't know, Mike. What would you? 3 a year? For me, I've seen 35 this year. Jake, how many?
On the
and
tally?
You've probably
I've
seen.
gone to the theater probably only about a handful of times
So you think you're qualified to even
to
be with that group?
to give my opinion. I can give my opinion on anything. See, that's what
Yeah.
I am for that show.
Excellent.
I don't know anything, and I don't do anything, but I have an opinion
Excellent.
and he's actually, and he can express his opinion in a beautiful voice.
in a
that we
deep
all love.
voice.
So I think the other thing that we'll do is with movies, we're not going to watch clearly as many as other people.
Well, this is great though because one of them can officiate our game that we invented for the podcast.
Oh, awesome.
We have a game.
A game?
We have
Already.
a bit. Do we call them bits?
You can.
Is that radio?
It is.
it
It is a
bit on
terminology
podcast?
used. They're
Well, you
called
know
bits
what?
or segments.
We'll
Segment.
call it a bit then.
Bit of a
Because this is
segment?
like internet radio.
Yes.
Delayed.
There we go.
Well, mostly then we'll just do. We'll talk about Hulu trailers. Then.
Oh, okay, awesome.
man.
That's pretty much what we have time for.
Everybody
And
has
we'll,
access to
that.
we'll
Everyone
just,
sees those.
We'll just rate the movie
Based on the trailer.
based on the trailer.
I will say
So-
this. I may not have been to the movie theater 35 times this year, but I watched Snow White about 145 times this
Oh,
year,
you
this
poor-
month. So I got that going for me.
That's nice. No, yeah. See, I'm years behind these guys on a lot of the new releases. I'm like, I'll see that in a couple years when one of my siblings gets a copy and I rate it. But like, yeah. So I like.
It's one of
Fine.
those things. Like, it's honestly, if we weren't doing the reviews, if it wasn't something that's very specific to the products that we produce, we wouldn't do it. I didn't watch this many movies before. It does take a lot of time. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
Mike
it's
feels the
basically
same way.
Mike's fault, Mike from the podcast. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mike.
But it was the same thing with all this stuff. The movies and games that we talk about, I mean, all of us were in some ways we're passionate about movies and games or music and all this other stuff. And so the podcast has given us a way of legitimizing the expense to our significant other.
Does that make it a tax write-off?
It does, in fact. It's considered a hobby write-off. just
We
for
will be
future reference.
definitely including movies
Uh,
in our.
now, understand, you-
and gun ranges.
Apparently, I
and
went to
golfing
35 movies this
and,
year.
playoff games.
You
I
too
think
could
is what
go
we're
see
doing.
them, but you could not take your children or spouses or friends with you. Otherwise, it then no longer is eligible for a tax write-off.
I don't know if you
Well-
clearly have not been married long enough.
Get separate
Because-
receipts off.
You
I
get
still
to the
take my
point
wife to
where
the movies.
you don't take your
Oh,
kids. at
wonderful.
all. You just. It's a long lunch, really.
I will continue in my my La La Land of marriage then.
Well, let's do
It is.
this since we're probably going to cut all of this out.
No.
And I say that sarcastically because this is gold. Let's jump into movies then.
Movies.
Let's just dance that dance.
I'll tell you
even
the
though
movie-
even though these guys literally just danced that dance.
We'll be quiet.
They
We'll let
danced-
you guys.
Well, no, I'd like to hear what you think about our opinions of the movie.
Yeah,
I'll give you an example. Ninth Row Media. Yes, Ninth Row Media just talked about
Good job, Dave.
what was that? What was that movie?
What?
Les Mis. They talked about
Les Mis, yeah,
Les
we
Mis.
talked about that
Um,
one. Did you see that?
I did.
You did?
My wife and I went and saw it.
I thought I was the only one that had seen it.
Did
Oh,
you go of
man.
your own volition?
I did.
Hold on. Google Volition.
Did you
I,
go because you wanted to go?
Oh, yes.
Oh, if that case, yes. I was probably the only person there who I'd never seen. Have you guys all seen? Show of hands. Have we all seen the musical?
Yeah, I grew up with the music.
I never saw
more
it.
or less.
I
never
literally knew nothing about the movie other than Jean Valjean.
You know what I knew?
And I knew that because you have to learn that.
Had you
I
heard
know-
any of the music before?
No,
Yeah,
I'd
Susan
never heard any
Boyle.
of it.
Did you know that it was a musical?
That was it. That's
I did. I knew
Okay.
it was a musical.
Because I've heard of people not knowing, and then once they find out it's a musical, they walk out.
Yeah.
Oh no, I knew it was I knew what it was.
Okay.
But I didn't know the story.
Yeah.
People have all you can't watch television stuff without someone referencing Jean Valjean, and eventually you have to
Right.
Google
humble
it.
yourselves and go, who?
It's a big, in the land of Broadway, it's big. So it gets a lot
Yeah,
of.
well, the preview said it's the biggest thing of all time.
Previews say lots of things.
Previews say a
And
lot of things.
they can't lie on previews. It's fact.
Of course
No,
not.
yeah.
on Wikipedia.
But and so as a rookie, Les Mis rookie, if you will, my favorite part of the movie is the casting director figured out that I like my French people best when they're British. That was my favorite part of the whole movie. They didn't bother with a single French accent.
Not one.
They didn't. Borat dropped some French accents.
Did he? I thought
Yeah,
he did.
He was my MVP
He-
personally.
Yeah, he was probably one of the most entertaining actors.
It was
of the entire
Borat in the movie.
He played the
Borat.
innkeeper.
He was
the
married.
innkeeper.
He was married to the girl who killed Sirius Black.
Bringing in the Harry Potter reference.
I don't know if this qualifies me to review movies since these are the names I have to use.
No,
but-
it's good.
No, you're-
I'm
you're
on the
fine.
same page.
Is that the
Bellatrix
that's the
Lestrange.
guy stealing stuff?
Yep. That.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the innkeeper.
that's probably one of the best parts of the.
Yeah.
That is when it was actually like a real musical to me.
Now, if you say probably,
Um,
do you mean 100% certain that was the best part of the movie and nothing else?
Yeah, pretty
good.
much.
it was.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
definitely. It had the most comedic factor.
Which
to
is
He was the
to
only
the
comedy.
prime thing musicals should do. They should be fun.
They should. Well, and it was really
This
interesting
movie-
because
this
you don't
movie
get
sucked. Actually, it just was. It was depressing. In fact, I told people I go the first part of Up, where the old lady dies, is
saw
more
that today.
uplifting than the first part of Les Mis. And at some point in time, shut up with the singing. I mean, they sang every friggin' line.
They actually added a lot.
At one point in time, what's his name? Who's Wolverine? What's his guy?
Jackman.
No, what's his
Valjean.
what's the real answer?
Jean Valjean.
No, his name is Le Wolverine.
No, but what's
Are
the
you
actor?
looking-
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Finally, he like goes. He gets done singing. He's like, and those are my pants. And I was like, oh my gosh, that guy's voice is so pretty, right there. I mean, he's so deep and rich.
No, that's true.
And you're like, and the rest of the time he's just they're singing and there's no notes. It's just random singing.
They added
Shut
a lot
up.
of stuff that was never actually in the musical that would to fill in that stuff, so they would have less spoken parts.
But even along the lines of the songs they were singing, Hugh Jackman was huge on like going back and forth to like rapping, singing, rapping. I'm saying words to rhythm. I'm singing, and the whole time he was really whining. I've heard him sing. He can sing really pretty. Like he has a good voice.
Pretty. He's got a pretty mouth.
But, yeah, chain him to my radiator. But no, that whole movie, it sounded like he was just in pain, like he was some sort of French guy who's like, taking over some.
Again, as the guy who knows nothing, wasn't that the point?
Exactly.
What?
Like if I was in the
What
movie,
was the point? What do you mean?
he was always in pain. I don't know. If I was in that movie, like, it would be very short, because if I played Wolverine in the movie, I'd go, well, I'm going to kill myself. This is not worth living, this life.
In the opening saying, this boat's heavy.
Yeah,
Off
I would be
myself.
like, I'm going to go lay my head under that boat. This is the worst.
I'd rather
He was
die.
old when he was pulling that boat, and then he was.
He was just heavily bearded.
I don't know. I guess he lost a ton of weight too. I saw him on like a Letterman.
Did he? He looked big.
No,
There were some scenes in there. He looked like a football player.
It was awesome. He goes, "Yeah, to prep for that, I didn't eat
Please
or
do this in an
drink."
Australian accent.
Oh, is he Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Nicole
please.
Kidman.
I can't do Australian accent.
That's fine.
He said, "G'day, I've lost a lot of weight."
Oh,
Now
and
that's
we're
English.
British. We're
Whatever.
British.
And
that's,
then
that's the Les Mis version of Australian accent.
that's the French version
Yeah.
of which is layman. So anyway, he said I didn't eat or drink for like 30 hours, and he had a raging headache. And so at that point, I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's dedication. It's dedication.
Wait, when he was recording the movie?
No, the first scene where he's like coming out of it and he's all gaunt and everything. Yeah, that was his
I get it.
preparation. And
Why didn't he just try acting?
because he had to look. He had to look the.
Oh, okay.
You can't see me doing this, but he had
I
to
mean,
look the
all
part.
joking aside, you do have to give a little bit of props for that, because 300 is known for being one of the most heavy CGI improved movies ever. I mean, their
What?
chests and their abdomens.
Are you kidding me?
straight-
I thought they lifted tires and stuff for that.
Yeah, I know, right?
No,
But-
No.
I'm
I watched
serious.
It on YouTube, they lifted tires.
They lift. Have you seen it?
Some of the
video
actors
I mean,
did, but
clearly there hasn't been a weight lifted
They're-
in this room for like a long time. But
Not since before Christmas.
I don't do them.
They-
But I'm just saying those guys
the
were ripped.
some of them were, but the majority of the actors were actually, it was improved with CGI. It wasn't.
I want some CGIs. I want that group on.
Right? Yeah, totally. And so, to be dedicated enough to make the changes physically for roles like that.
What do you
it's
think he
actually
got
kinda
paid
cool.
for that?
Oh, millions.
He
Okay,
got-
I'm
he
willing
got a
to like
lot.
not eat for 30
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
And sing
money made it
crappily.
worth it.
I see in that too, because everybody hates the other Australian, Maximus Aurelius.
Leader of the Northern Armies.
Yeah, what's his
Yeah.
name in real life?
Russell. Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, Russell.
Beautiful
Russell
man.
Crowe.
I win.
I think it's awesome that he sucks at singing, because clearly he's just like, I like this, I'm going to do it, and I don't care if I suck, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, good on you.
No,
How much
that's-
did he
that's
get paid
true.
again?
More than I got paid to watch it.
I don't. I don't know.
I didn't hate it though. I liked it. I liked it just fine.
There was a couple brought two little kids in front of us, and I thought that it was a bit much for a couple little kids, especially the
Well,
LaFontaine
a
scene.
A prostitute dying of tuberculosis.
Is that why she died?
Yeah,
it
was
I thought-
tuberculosis.
How do you know? It was like a few minutes in. How do you know that she just?
I'm making
She sang a
crap
song
up.
about it. I don't know.
You guys know the musical, the
Should have had
thing.
a TB test. That's a big song. They
I
took it
bet
out
you
of the
just
movie.
died of like a broken heart or something. It just seemed that
hair
whole scene
loss.
seemed a little rapey to me, and I thought it was a bit much.
Yeah, I would.
I know that guy paid for it, but didn't it
It
seem
still
a little
seemed rapey.
rapey to you? I like my musicals a little bit happier.
Like what? What musicals are okay? Like Disney musicals?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I like the Pirates of Penzance. I know Newsies isn't really a.
You're kidding me.
You're gonna play him in the news.
You're kidding
But
me.
the guy that was Batman was
Batman
like the
was
guy.
giving newspapers.
Don't take the moral high road. Liking Newsies is just fine.
I
just
do
funny.
like musicals. I'm a fan. People breaking out in the song for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. I'm good with that.
That's how I met my wife.
Doubt it.
Nah, it's a lie, but could you imagine?
Kind of like how she died of TB.
I was walking down the road.
So here's the best part of. What, you have something?
Did we just do like 15 minutes on Les Mis?
Maybe.
Bravo.
But
So
listen,
this is how we feel because we didn't intend. We had like 5 other things we wanted to talk about in our show.
Well, here, let's get to our game because I want to see our bit.
I know, but hold on. The best part of Les Mis, I think, for me, was before with the Tom Cruise movie that's coming out, which is Oblivion.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
That does look awesome.
And I guess I can't remember any of the others.
I'll tell you the best part as far as previews go is the one with the fat girl that was in Bridesmaids. She has a name.
The fat girl in
no,
Bridesmaids.
no, she doesn't. It's Fat Girl from Bridesmaids.
Solid.
You're talking about Thief.
Yeah.
Identity Thief.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's- is it ID Thief?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Google
I think it's called ID Thief.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
just happen to
who's it?
have-
Jason Bateman.
Yes, it is Jason Bateman.
That looked like I had potential.
Yes, it does.
So here's our bit. Can I do our bit?
I don't have the thing.
I have
don't
the
have.
thing.
I don't have the phone.
I have the phone.
So what you need for this bit, we're going to invite anyone who wants to play this game. We're not going to market it. It's a freebie.
Well, here, let me
Enjoy it.
tell the
Explain
history of
the game.
My buddy, his parents have a cabin, and we were all up there. And you know when you go to someone's cabin in the winter and it's cold, and you play Pictionary too.
Yeah.
You have carpal tunnel and stuff. And so we came up with this game. Well, we'll do this one. We'll do this one real quick.
Do the easy form.
Just so you know, it is Identity Thief, and the actor you're thinking of is Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, she's great.
She is funny. She's also going to be in another movie where she's like a police agent.
When she hosted Saturday Night Live, that was for
yeah,
great.
she's a good comedian,
So here's how the game was invented. We were arguing about Nicolas Cage.
as all great arguments go.
Yeah, and so I went on to IMDb, and there's 2 ways to play. He's been an actor in
Hold on.
77 movies.
Segue. Sidebar. What did all Saturday Night Live? Segue. What's the best bit in Saturday Night Live involving Nicolas Cage?
In the cage, Nicolas Cage.
In
probably-
the cage with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Who have you guys seen this?
No,
Yeah, I have.
You're
Oh.
kidding.
It is awesome.
Should I pull it up?
Run
We
to
can play it.
Hulu. Run to Hulu and
You
watch
can-
In the Cage. It's
In the Cage with Nicolas Cage.
oh my goodness.
Who
It's-
does Nicolas Cage? Is it
So what you do? There's 2 ways to play with the game we came up with.
Here we go.
Oh, should I go ahead and play it now?
Yeah,
just
go
play
ahead.
it.
I didn't get anywhere on my explanation.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
I mean, it's
The
going to do its little
following
ad
clip
thing
is
that it
brought
has
to you
do.
by H&R Block.
Time for Get in the Cage, where actor Nicolas Cage sits down with fellow thespians to discuss their recent work. Please welcome Nicolas Cage and Liam Neeson.
He normally doesn't have guests, does he?
Every time it is.
It's in the cage with
Thank
Nicolas.
you so much for
Cage.
coming.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with the great Nick Cage.
Nick.
That's very kind of you, Liam. Now, you're in the upcoming film Battleship,
William.
a movie in which robot aliens invade Earth from the ocean.
Can you pause
That's
it?
right.
So I guess my
Pause
first
it.
question is,
Pause. Have you seen Battleship?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see
No,
Battleship?
No.
Oh, I saw it.
I don't
Did
think
you
I'll be
see
ruined.
it? How do you say you're not going to see that? It's
Well,
awesome.
no, I think I'll say. I don't think I'll be ruined by watching this without
It's-
saying Battleship.
No, you're not going to ruin anything.
No.
It's just
Okay.
The only thing that can ruin Battleship is watching Battleship.
Come on, Rihanna, the
Yeah.
serious actors.
Battleship.
I know
is-
you guys probably gave it a serious spanking on your legitimate
No,
review.
actually, I don't.
But-
I don't think we actually reviewed it.
It was so bad they don't even review it.
We
Like,
never touched it, just like we never
No.
touched
Never even
Rock'em
watched
Sock'em
it.
Robots.
Yeah.
What was that
I think
one?
we actually talked about Battleship on the show, but we never actually did a review for it because it just kind of went under the radar for us.
It was
didn't-
below us.
it's
yeah.
freaking fun.
It-
I think that's the problem with a lot of reviews is people just they get so into it that you just what's wrong with just going, you know what? That's a fun movie.
Well,
that's
no,
fun.
and
that was worth the $3 we spent to rent.
Well,
that.
see, there you go, and that's actually the point that we make in a lot of our reviews is we say, look, this is either going to be worth it to see, $12 for just you to go see in the theater, or this is something you should wait till it comes out in the $3.
That's awesome. See, this
Or-
is once again, this is where the family thing comes in. We're like, oh, it's going to be just worth $48.75
Well,
to get in the theater.
We actually use it as a scale. We say, look, this is something that you should go see in theaters because it's a movie that is the effect is lost when you take it out of the theater, or this is a movie that realistically it's going to be
So
something
you really
watch on a
can't
Saturday night.
rate them
with
until they've been home on DVD because you don't know. I mean, how much is it going to lose?
You base it off of experience. We take the hit for you by paying the premium to go see it every time it comes out.
It sounds like only Mike takes the hit.
No, yeah, I know. Mike,
Jake is not taking too many hits.
Jake does not take very many
Jake
hits.
saw 4 movies this year.
But
I'm playing it safe.
but that's okay. I mean, that's
In the
that's
4
kind of the
that
role
he did
Jake
go
fits.
to.
I've been bashed, thrashed, and
and,
kicked
did not
trash.
review one.
No, that's
but
true.
okay.
I should actually.
Hey, let's get in the cage. Let's get in the cage.
All right. Well,
want-
I was going to say the Battleship movie was awesome.
It was entertaining, but would you say that it stands up to 007?
Well, I don't
Skyfall.
care. I didn't watch
You know what?
007.
Ah.
I think
Here's
007
the-
is
And
dumb.
that's why we have our job and
No,
you have
here's the
yours.
line. Here's
I'm not. That my job isn't to rate movies. My job
Exactly.
is just like
It's
talk
ours.
about them every once
Here's
in a
the
while.
line, though. We're a bunch of youngish men watching youngish movies. Like, I don't think there was one family movie that I'm sure the guys watched.
No, we did. We did like Hotel Transylvania.
You did Hotel Transylvania.
I did.
We
But
don't
like,
get paid to see
out of the
that.
majority of the group who've seen like the movies, they're all movies aimed towards like
Uh,
young guy movies.
I handle more of most of the family
Yeah,
friendly
because
ones.
you go and see movies with your family.
I went to go see like Hotel Transylvania and Lincoln and
Yeah.
stuff like that on my own. It would
All right,
just
we,
be
maybe
you
we
and-
can talk about Battleship another time.
Yeah,
It's-
you could-
It's just so many levels.
It is
It's
an entertaining
It's an
movie.
onion.
Well, there's levels.
parfait.
There's lots of levels. There's awesome things blowing up,
Yes.
people running around,
Hilarity and hijinks.
hilarity and hijinks, cleavage.
Cleavage. The
Soul.
where the guy sneaks into the place to get whatever. That's fun.
You guys just described like half of the movies in American cinema. I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, and
he
but-
And you
sneaks
know
in
what?
there, and then he
you
gets
know
in
what?
trouble
American
with the
cinema is nailing it.
Exactly. With that formula.
the guy. The guy gets in trouble with the admiral's.
You know what's funny?
the
I'm
admiral
pretty sure
and he
that,
wants
that
her
Roy
daughter.
and Matt are like the quintessential guys that we make fun of on our show.
It could be.
I'm
Uh,
sure we are.
well,
I will say this.
But you're also our target audience.
My favorite part of those movies is I want to be in the room when they're written. They clearly don't write a script, but I want to.
It's all improv.
Yeah, I
Come up
want to
with
be in
words.
the room when they come with ideas. This is something we talked about 100 years ago. Have you guys seen Point Break?
Yeah, I have.
You haven't seen Point. My earlobe.
I was
It came
doing.
out in '93. You've had time.
I was like a whole 6 years old in '93.
What I'm saying is, you
perfectly
say you're behind the
acceptable.
times.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll catch you up on Point
I'll
Break.
be around. Yeah.
There's one of the, I would say, all-time greatest chase scenes
All-time greatest chase
in movie
scene.
history. I think
in
that's
movie history.
without question.
And what makes it the greatest scene?
Well, what makes it the
is
greatest
chase.
is Special Agent Johnny Utah is chasing Bodie, as played
played by Patrick
Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves, and they're on foot.
So you know there's quality acting.
yeah, and they're on
Yeah.
foot
Right
and they're-
now.
I will say this: I legitimately love that movie Point Break.
I do too.
Um,
It's awesome.
And they're running, and you guys in Norway can't see, but I'm actually making finger running movements.
It's true.
It's one of the
I'm
great
here.
things with
And,
audio.
They're
well,
running through a neighborhood.
I
and
should,
through
also, I
houses.
should also say this for our Norwegian audience: there's no snow in this neighborhood. They're running, so they're able to actually run fast. There's no skis. There's no ski poles to have sword fights with. It's just them chasing.
What about ice?
Well, in the icebox.
Okay.
But so Patrick Swayze runs, and he's
Hold on. You know the scene from I know.
Are we ever gonna get to Nick Cage?
Yeah,
You will.
Yeah.
At the end, he's
That-
gonna be
that's-
the.
well, in fact, for all you Norwegians out there, I'll let you know what we're doing. Jake is now keeping a list of all the topics.
Jake is today's intern.
Hey.
He's our intern, and he will keep a list of all the things we leave open-ended, and at the end, we will try to close all of our loops.
So what were you saying?
Jake. It's
Where
Looper.
was he right now?
We left off on Point Break.
Point Break,
Greatest movie all time.
greatest movie. Greatest
All
movie.
time.
It's literally
Running with no snow.
I would say so. Patrick Swayze, Brody, if you will. He's the
Bodie.
bad guy. Brody. He's the bad guy, and he's running away. And Keanu Reeves is
But Keanu Reeves doesn't know that it's Bodie. He just knows that it's
one of the dead presidents. The big
one of the
robbers.
dead presidents. Because these guys put on masks and they're the dead presidents, and then they go rob banks and they use that bank money to sponsor to bankroll their surfing, and they probably get high. I mean, they probably do that.
Probably.
And
I
then
feel like we're stereotyping. But.
all their adrenaline junkie stuff, and skydiving too.
Well, anyway, so they're running through a neighborhood, and Patrick Swayze goes through the middle of a house, and Keanu Reeves follows him, and Patrick Swayze runs through the sliding glass door, closes it, locks it, keeps on going, and Keanu Reeves runs and jumps through the glass door. When he gets up from the shattered glass, Patrick Swayze throws a pit bull at him. Now,
Straight up throws a dog.
Throws a full
throws
pit
an angry, full-grown pit bull on his face.
How does he hold the pit bull to throw
See,
him?
that's what I'm saying. People who review movies for a living
Yeah.
may think that's stupid. People who watch movies for the sheer joy of watching movies go, who came up with the idea to throw an angry pit bull at someone's face? Because that's an awesome idea.
Well, no,
And that's where we want to be. That's the meeting. That
I
I
want
think
to-
we
I want
wanna
a little
be
bit
in.
of
For my job, I want to sit in a room and have someone go, yeah, maybe he'll throw like a brick. And someone else goes, no, how about a chihuahua? And I'll go, how
Pit
about
bull.
a pit bull? And they'll go, like it, move on, next scene. And we just come up with crazy things.
Actually,
think it's
that's
called
one of the things that
add-ons.
that Ninth Row is working on. Is we're doing an animated series or more of a CGI series, and so we do have sessions like that of, well, what happens here and how does it work? And the crazier it gets, the more pit bull it gets, the better it is.
I hope you use the term the more pit bull it gets, and I would like.
This is going to be the new jumping the shark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can
it's-
totally be the new
Make
Jumping
it pit
Shark.
bull.
I'm telling you this. If you watch the movie, you will just be
I'm gonna
so
have
much
to now.
anticipation for when the pit bull gets thrown.
Well-
I haven't watched this movie, and I'm not lying.
A month.
Two.
I was going to say like
2
12
months.
years, but
No,
Do-
you've seen it more recently.
do
We've
you-
talked about it more
I
recently.
probably have.
Do you want a little bit of explanation though as to of more of what we look for? Is consistency in the universe. We look at it. I know, right?
What? I don't know.
Wait, hold on.
Allow me to explain.
And they make fun of us.
Now, allow me to explain what I'm talking about. The way we often will look at it is each film has its own laws and rules that it works with.
Once again, stuff we don't care about.
Yeah.
Is it fun? Is it awesome? Stuff blow up.
but-
At some point in time, does somebody scream, Wolverines? That's what we want to know.
But at some point, if it's broken, if there's inconsistencies, that's where we look at it and go, okay, well, maybe that maybe was not the best way.
I'll
of
tell you
doing
some
that.
inconsistencies. In what's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he
Terminator.
Commando.
Whoa.
Commando, when the Porsche that he's driving, the yellow
When
Porsche,
he lifts it up and throws it off the cliff.
when it goes up against the side and it gets trashed and then he pushes it back over, it's not trashed. That is a wrinkle in your universe.
Right, that's what we're talking about.
See, I
Inconsistency,
get it.
Where
I
it's-
get it.
Where we look at it and go, well, that was a point of laziness, of a detail that makes what's going on more unbelievable. Now, the throwing of the pit bull,
I don't know
probably
if you've really seen Commando. Because at
Commando
one point in
is a-
time, Arnold Schwarzenegger jumps off the front of actually jumps off the
landing gear.
the landing gear, and lands into a swamp. And if you've ever seen like a fake body being thrown,
Right.
that's exactly what it looks like. And so we don't see that as inconsistent. That's a
That is what it is.
cost-saving production
Well, the movie
move.
was made in 1982, so
Right.
they had to throw it.
there's a big difference.
What's your favorite line of that whole movie?
Blow off some steam, Bennett.
You haven't seen it, have you? Let off some steam, Bennett. You're right,
This
Sally.
movie-
What is the guy's name? Sally?
This movie.
You're right, Sally. I did say I was going to kill you last. I lied, and then he drops him. I'm totally ruining the movie. Spoiler, but who
No,
cares?
Hold on. All you need to know about this movie to pique your interest, I'm guaranteeing you it's free on the internet. Arnold Schwarzenegger is assaulting like a drug dealer's lair, and
Fortress.
Fortress.
Yes, lair.
and
Good word.
they all of his minions, not the yellow funny kind, but Commando.
Right, and they're
Machine gun
all Hispanic guys.
Yeah, well, I think who cares where they go, but they all
the word.
surround
Costa Rica.
the shed, the tool shed in the lawn, and they're just shooting it full of guns and with bullets. I guess you don't shoot actual guns,
Right.
But
Unloading.
then they kick the door open, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he's Commando, the movie's named after him, he's hiding in the rafters of this tool shed, and he grabs the blade you would use on a
saw, but
like a table
but
saw.
he first has two axes, I think.
I don't know. I think he comes with the
chops
axes,
him with the
but then he
axes.
grabs the blades to a table saw, and he throws it at a guy and cuts his arm off. off.
It cuts a part of his head off too.
Yeah,
That
it's-
hurts.
It's great stuff.
I actually, as a kid, tried to count how many deaths were in that, and it was like 100 and something people that he killed. It was fantastic
yeah,
in a horrible way. So anyway, where were we?
I don't know. I don't think
Let's
you
talk
want to.
about-
I don't think you want to.
You were at just universe consistency with the
Well,
Pitbulls.
I think-
But then before that was
Yeah.
Point Break.
I think.
Or I think we're done with Point Break.
I think I'm done with
Okay.
Point Break.
Okay.
I just say watch it. In fact,
Simply
if
watch
you're
In fact,
if you're one of our listeners, go watch it right now and email us and tell us how awesome it was.
and you have to watch the last scene because that's the best scene. And I'm going to ruin it. No, I'm not going to ruin it. You watch the last scene and you tell me via email at valhallarising@gmail.com.
You may want to spell that.
It has 2 L's.
How it sounds.
You figure out where
Google
they go.
it.
How it sounds. Let's do this. Let's watch In the Cage with Nicolas Cage.
All right.
Okay.
And
We're
by
gonna
watch,
go
I
back
mean
to
listen
Nick-
to.
Because we once said that this was an awesome skit.
I rewound it just a little bit here.
It's fine.
Appreciate it.
Where actor Nicolas Cage sits
I don't
down
know
with
if we have
fellow
that kind of time.
thespians to discuss their recent work. Please welcome Nicolas Cage and Liam Neeson. This is so great. Nick, Liam, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with the great Nick Cage.
That's very kind of you, Liam. Now, you're in the upcoming film Battleship, a movie in which robot aliens invade Earth from the ocean.
Yep, that's right.
So I guess my first question is, how am I not in that movie? It has both the classic elements I look for in a Nick Cage film. 1, it's based on a children's board game. And 2, you don't need to speak English to enjoy it.
Well, Nick, I'm sorry you weren't in the movie, but
Oh, spare me your pity, nieces pieces.
All right, I think that you get
I'm
the feel
developing my own
for
movie.
the
Yeah.
In the Cage with Nick Cage. So there's probably what, like 5 of those, 6 of those?
There's
Yeah,
quite a
couple,
few.
there's a couple.
So anyway, so to close this loop, the intern didn't bring this up. I blame him. Well, you're welcome for not getting you fired and remembering what we were doing.
We weren't there yet.
The game we were playing in Tahoe
Oh, we're back to that.
about Nicolas Cage. It's the bit we're going to do on our podcast from time to time, and we can actually shuffle, so even the intern, everybody could get a chance to play.
Are you the game master right now?
Looks like it.
You're gonna.
Okay, well, yeah, I could be the master this time. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that. So the first time is I'll cheat a little bit. The IMDb app, if you go into the movie page for a specific movie, you scroll down far enough, and it has the best things ever called taglines. Now, there's 2 ways to play this game. Taglines. One,
This is the name of the game, right?
This has to be the
Didn't
name
you
of
give
it.
the name?
Yeah,
Didn't
it's
you-
called tagline.
Right.
Well, there's tagline where I would go like this. I say the tagline for this Nick Cage movie
Is this a real round? Is this a live round?
Yeah, this is a live round.
live round.
Nick
Wait,
Cage. Nick
we
Cage.
have to
We don't
explain it
Keep
first.
the safety on.
Well, guess the movie.
Guess the
Okay, so you're going to read the tagline, and we have to guess what movie this is.
Ice cold, hot wired.
And this is a Nicolas Cage movie?
Oh yeah.
Ice Cold, Hot Wired.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Bam.
Boom,
Winner.
guys.
Now the other way to play this
King.
game, is you read the plot summary, then guess what the movie, or you can read the tagline and guess what the
okay.
movie's about. I think that's how we did. We read the tagline and we'd say, all right, here's the tough one. Honor was their code.
I know this one.
Oh.
We'll drop it. I mean, he only sees 2 movies a year,
Yeah.
despite the fact that
It's,
he's
it's a Nick Cage movie, right?
oh yeah,
Wind Talkers.
you nailed it. So
Guys.
here's how we're gonna play the game.
Are you just like the resident Nick Cage man? Is that what's going
He
on?
looks up these things when he's on his own.
Let's go to a recent movie. They'll
So here's
stand
what
a-
we're gonna
they'll
do.
Stand a chance.
To play the game, we'll do. How about we do first?
Yay for being young.
You know what you should
First
do?
to
You
5?
should pass the phone around.
No, it's not.
Well, what we'll do is on a week-to-week basis, we'll just have
We'll
someone
just
else
change it.
change
Okay, okay.
But so it's you 3. Are you playing?
Sure, I'll play now.
First to
You
5
just
is what
didn't
we
jump
said?
into the Nick Cage ones.
Yeah,
because they didn't know. That's fine. I'm
Well,
not going
I'm-
to know some of them too.
Well, in the
probably.
interest of time, I'll just do 5 movies. These are all from the coming soon list on IMDb.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for this tagline?
Yeah.
Classic tale, new twist.
Oh,
Classic tale, new twist.
Yeah.
Classic tale.
We should have the intern do the reading though, because he's got that great voice.
Ooh. Well, you know what?
No,
This
no,
is the first
next
round.
time.
It's fine.
Next
I'm
time.
playing.
Next time.
Okay,
Next
so
time.
I'm
Try that though. Say that. Classic tale.
Classic tale, new twist.
Dang, you're good.
Say
way
say
good.
it like in Land Far Away. Classic tale.
I think he just
New
lives it there.
twist. Say it.
So, all right, you guys have 5 seconds. Classic tale,
Oh.
new twist. Any guesses? Coming soon.
Is it a Beauty and the Beast spinoff?
No.
Nay, says I.
Oh.
Do you want to know who directed it? Who wrote it?
Classic tale, new twist.
I'm trying to think if that's Hansel
Underworld.
and Gretel, but I
Bam.
don't think it is.
Five.
It is Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel. Okay.
Logan gets
you know
it.
what?
Logan
that
gets
was a
it.
trailer on the.
Oh, you know what?
Yes, it is. But a lot of the time they'll use these same things in the trailers.
All right, go again. Another one.
All right.
I have no clue.
This one you guys should all get, and I'm just. Well, this will be a speed round. Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Russia.
Die Hard, the newest, latest
Oh,
one.
is it Live Strong?
No.
Die Hard another day.
Die Hard, he's
Li-
still alive.
Live like you want to die hard.
A good day to die hard.
A good day to die hard.
You can see how if you're in a cabin, this is a phenomenal game.
But to be fair, I called Die Hard first.
You did. So
You
you have
got
two.
it.
You guys have a cumulative zero.
My favorite is the movie
It's
poster
a
I've
group
seen.
effort, and that's only a group effort because I'm not winning.
Whatever.
Last one.
Otherwise, get your own points.
Okay, last one. Is this the face of a thief?
Oh,
Wow,
Identity
Yes.
Thief.
That's Identity.
Yeah.
Dang it.
All right.
Don't look so
That-
disappointed. It's a great game.
So what? You have one, Logan, or what?
Oh, yeah, I've got one for you.
All right, Logan's got one.
right, so I'm playing.
I'd actually be surprised if you don't get this one because it's
Les Mis.
I just said that.
The Hobbit.
not in his town, not on his watch.
Oh,
Arnold
it's the one- it's
Schwarzenegger.
the Schwarzenegger one. It's the one. It's where the
What's
guy
it called?
Unstoppable.
Nope.
on does it have
Kindergarten
an
Cop
on in
2.
it?
Sleeping with your maid.
No.
Jingle All the Way too.
No.
Terminator.
Well done. No.
don't
The Last
know.
Stand.
Last
and there's a
Stand.
little bit of
You
controversy.
don't have to give it to us right away. I mean, half
I
the
thought,
fun
I thought
is
you only
guessing.
had. I thought you only
Make
had
'em
5
work
seconds
for
or
it.
something like that. Here, I've got another one. You should probably get.
so horrible. At this.
That's why it's a great game.
Yeah.
The greatest manhunt in history.
Zero Dark 30. Bam.
Bam! Right there. It's the one about hunting Osama bin Laden. Was Parker the one you were looking at that didn't have a tagline to it?
No, it was G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I think talking about Nicolas Cage is a great way to segue into our next segment,
Which is?
parenting.
Oh, what
Because
time
when
are we
anyone thinks of a good parent, they think of Nick Cage.
I don't know if I'm up for parenting.
Yeah, I don't.
I've had a bad week with parenting. I haven't
Why
been a
don't
very good
you
parent.
two introduce?
It's
'cause
Monday.
how many kids you have, what ages they are.
That's fair.
Yeah, just give the
Okay.
audience something to work.
So Matt, give a little bio.
All right, so
I think you should rock paper scissors over this.
Fine.
wait, hold on, wait.
I'm gonna go scissors.
The winner goes first.
Winner goes
winner
first.
goes first.
Sudden
The
death.
winner goes first.
Winner goes first.
Kawe bawe po.
Oh, I'm first.
All right.
My name's Roy, and I have 3 kids, family of 5 total, wife and 3 kids. I've got a 16-year-old daughter. I have a 13-year-old son in 8th grade, and I have an 8-year-old who's in, I think, 3rd grade. So I have the gambit of kids and experience, and I have a daughter that's dating now, off and on.
Do you
so
own
we'll
a
have
gun?
that to deal with. So there's going to be lots of things to talk about. As well as being married for
think this is-
15 years. I'm
Wow.
kidding. No, we've had a 16-year-old daughter. 18 years.
Bravo.
Yes.
Well, I think since you asked, does he have a gun?
I have a gun?
Yeah, when you
Well,
mentioned
yeah.
a 16-year-old daughter and she was dating, I said,
Oh,
you
no,
have a
no,
gun.
I don't have a gun.
And I'll tell you why. Roy, in the last calendar year, shot a mouse with a bow and arrow in his lawn.
What?
Yep. Did you really?
Yeah.
There's photographic evidence to prove this. that-
It'll probably be on our website. We don't even have a name
You didn't
for
just
it
step
yet.
on
Be
it and
the
then put the
cover of
arrow
the
through it later?
website.
No, let me tell you the story real quick. Do you have a second?
I
Yeah,
can
we have a
wait.
second. So I'm sitting there in our kitchen, and I see something scamper across
When
the
you say
street.
our, you should say my, since
My wife,
none of your wife.
my wife and I in my kitchen, and I see something scamper across the street onto my front lawn. And I was home from work, so I was in like a pair of Dockers, and I was probably actually in this. Actually, I was in the same outfit I'm wearing right now, which is a golf shirt, overshirt, and a pair of Dockers and some shoes. And I said, I need to go kill whatever that is. So I go running outside, and I look at it, and it's a mouse. But it's like a mouse rat. It's not like a tiny mouse. It's like a rat, but not like a huge rat. So if it was a huge rat, that'd be an easier target to
It was
hit.
like a
So
Disney rat.
It was
So it was a
mouse rat.
questionably sized rodent.
It was a mouse rat, and I went, oh my gosh, I got to go get my pellet gun. So I ran into the garage, and I could not find the pellet gun. But what I did see up in the rafters is I saw my bow. and it's the oldest bow. I think it was like one of the first compound bows ever made, and it's glowing. Like something out of Conan, where like the sword glows. Well, my bow
that's
is glowing.
Conan the Barbarian, not Conan the talk show for
Right.
our younger
So,
listeners.
I want to shoot this thing so bad, but my wife is in the house, and I know she's not going to go for that. So she has to go run an errand, and I'm almost like praying that this mouse rat will still be there. It is. I look at it, I run, I grab the bow, and now I have to find an arrow. And the only thing I can find is an old cruddy arrow, and as I touch the fletching, the plastic part, it crumbles, and it's just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I can still do this. And so I grab it, and I run through my front yard, and I see the mouse rat just sitting there in the flower bed, and I sneak up, and I'm probably 8, 10, 12 feet away, something like that. So it's not like an amazing shot, but it's a mouse rat, and it's the first really mouse rat I've ever killed with my bow. And I knock the arrow, I pull it back, I release it. The rest of the fletching explodes, and it's just going everywhere. And all of a sudden, it just pins the mouse rat to the ground, and it's like screaming. And I'm like, oh my gosh! And so I run into the garage. I throw my bow over to the. I'm not gonna just throw it randomly. So I throw it on some dirty laundry, and I'm at the same time I'm dialing Matt. And I'm like, Matt, I just killed a mouse rat. And he's in a meeting, right?
Well, no, I was actually on a phone with a client, and I got off the phone because he was so excited. I think you text messaged me like 911, so I hung up with the client, called you back, and you're screaming, I killed a mouse rat. And I was like, what's going on? And Roy put the phone near the dying mouse rat, and I listened to this mouse rat lose its dying breath. True story with photographic evidence.
It's awesome.
Little did we know, you just killed off an entire species.
And
of
I was
mouse
telling Matt, I go, listen, I feel pretty jacked up right now. This is awesome. I mean, it's not like the scene in Red Dawn where they're going to drink. I wasn't going to drink any mouse blood right there, but I slept on the floor that night. So, I mean, I felt pretty good. I was not going to sleep in a normal bed. I felt way too awesome for that. So anyway, that's my mouse rat.
I'm pretty sure there's like a Robin
I'm a mighty
Williams
hunter
joke about this, about killing small rodents.
Maybe, but I will say this. Now I have the desire to shoot other things with my bow. And I think fish are going to be next.
I've heard that bow fishing is actually pretty cool.
We will talk about it on future episodes. But Matt, why don't you give us a rundown of who you are?
All right. Well, I wish I had an awesome murder story to go with my introduction of my children.
That's all right.
I just don't. But I'm Matt. I've been married for 5 years. I have 2 children, 2 girls, a 3-year-old, and an 8-month-old. The 3-year-old just finished her first semester of preschool.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah, she's pretty solid with the alphabet.
Pretty solid.
Well, she's got the alphabet dialed. She's trying to write her name now, and she knows all the letters, and she knows that there's a way to make those symbols on paper.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie. She's not. I wouldn't say she's like a prodigy where has glorious penmanship.
So here's the thing that's going to happen. During these podcasts, we're going to give our audience and
which
you guys
consists of both of you and all of Norway.
Well, we'll tell you guys and whoever happens to be here because you're younger, and we will be the wise sages, if you will. And we're going to say things that are going to happen in your kids' lives, and you're going to go, no. That couldn't possibly happen, and that'll never be me. And to which I will say, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll give you the first example. When I got married, Roy and I were chatting, and nothing's worse. You guys can actually agree with me on this. People give you premarital advice.
Oh, tons.
And you realize quickly that you're like, well.
Did you ever have older couples ask you if it was going to last?
No.
No.
Yeah, I know. It was really weird. It was a weird phenomenon after I got married. There was and it was only the older couples. There was 4, and nobody else. And the one thing that all of them asked was, "Is it going to last?" And I'm like, "What kind of a question is that?"
Man, they weren't like family.
Did
they
you
were
say
like
longer than your hip?
Yeah, I really wanted to.
Well, here's my example. One of them mildly blue that we might cut. The other one completely acceptable. I was engaged, and Roy said, he goes, look, just so you know, he's like, really, really enjoy the next 6 months. He's like, because you're getting married. I got married in my 30s, so a lot of my all-star years were behind me. And he goes, really dig in. He goes, because in about 6 to 8 months, there's going to come a night where you're going to kind of make your wife mad on purpose just a little bit, so she goes to bed, so you can call me up and we can play online video games. And he goes, and you're gonna forego a sexual episode specifically for video games. And I was like, that will never happen. And if that ever does happen, I will literally kill myself. And then about 7 months later, I called him. I'm like, hey, what you got on Call of Duty? and I remember playing. I'm like, it happened. It happened. And I don't play Call of Duty anymore because of that.
Well, congratulations, and now you have 2 kids.
And now I have 2 kids. Yeah. So I had to,
Obviously, it didn't work exactly
the
how
other
you
time, you guys don't have. Well, you have your dogs.
Yeah.
But,
they are what
I
care
have
over.
my podcast.
If you were fully aware of what it's like when a child starts teething, you would never have kids. You never would. You would. Like, no amount of love is worth that 2 months of hell.
From what I understand, it is a pretty hellacious period of no sleep.
And
worse than when the baby's brand new.
And Roy tells me one day, he said, I was like, oh, my kid's teething. She hasn't been sleeping that well, and she's covered in snot and drool. And he goes, in the next week, there will be a night, and you and your wife will be up about 3 a.m. yelling at each other for no reason that you can understand. But your child will drive you to scream at each other. And he said, not on that night. You'll know I'm right. And it came, and we yelled.
And it's not you don't want it to happen, but,
right?
But you just want that. You want these things. They're called Highlands pills, and you don't know what they are. They're these fake pills that are sugar, I think, but they have some kind of medicine in them. At least you think they have medicine in them that supposedly, mythically soothe your baby's gums. And so with this knowledge, you start to go to every Walgreens that's ever been opened late at night in search of these things. Or your other thing is none of us drink, but at some point in time, you start questioning. You start going, you know what? I can't find these stupid Highlands pills. I'm going to go get some Jack Daniels and rub it on their gums. And I know that that's against all of our drinking thoughts, but you start thinking of that, and I wasn't willing to do that. I wasn't willing to compromise that drinking thing. So I started to Google baby sleeper holds. How can I just knock my baby out? What's the proper?
Yeah. How do
I
you?
think that's going to be the tagline for the episode.
How do
can
you
I
render
knock
a
my
child
baby out?
unconscious
Right.
without?
I mean, you could
causing brain
probably
damage?
just use your fingers and just seal those off, but you also don't want a dumb baby. So you really have to weigh it.
And again, I see you smiling at us like we're insane people.
For those of you in the audience, while Roy was explaining that, he had to clench his fist and bend his elbow. And
Like you're. It's like an MMA. Like you're the ultimate
a rear
MMA
naked choke.
guy.
Well, I'm just thinking of when they come for evidence to find out why a child died. It's of all the conversations to take out of context.
If
But if the cop has kids, he's gonna go.
If you're in front of a jury of your
got it."
peers,
Yeah, real.
and you're
peers.
like, so why'd you kill your baby?
Because I couldn't find Highland
it
pills.
it was teething. I had no Jack Daniels, no Highland pills. The jury would go,
whole jury goes,
acquitted,
yeah.
acquitted, yeah.
And they would give you a gift card. just for your troubles.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the jury would be like, you can make more of those. I get it.
Is this with every child or just the first?
All of them.
Yeah, just everyone you've had these episodes.
They
all have teeth?
They all have teeth. It's all the same. You get those little chewy things, and you get ice on washcloths, and you get all of that. But it's
not the first night you stay up all night. With my first child, the third night where I had to stand because she figured out somehow in her brain she understood the elevation change between me sitting on the couch and standing up. I had to be standing. I had to be holding her in the most painful position I could humanly have her in, so that made me want to sever both my arms, Arnold Schwarzenegger commando style with a blade saw.
It should be a Survivor challenge.
Yeah, and if I did that and bounced to a very specific rhythm, she would calm down and feel good, and she'd go to sleep. So I was doing that, and when my wife would try to help me out, the child would lose her mind. So I was doing that, and then the sun came up, and I'm doing this horrible thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the sun's up. And I hear my alarm beeping. I'm like, I just was awake the whole night. And I went and I gave my child to my wife, and I showered and went to work. And we didn't fight. But the third night I did that, I was just holding this baby, and I was like, well, time for me to scream. And we fought. And
was it just the need to release the pent-up frustration?
No, you just fight because everybody's frustrated.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it, and you don't know
Right.
really why they're screaming. So anyway.
But the thing about it is you laugh because you're like, we fought for a while, then we finally all fell asleep the next day. We're like, that was the worst night of our whole marriage.
So that's going to be one of our other topics is parenting, and we'll come back to it. But I think since we're running probably out of time here, let's give you guys, if you're going to come back to the show at some point in time, you have to participate in one of the things
They're
that we
recording the
have.
show.
One of the most passionate things we have is soccer. We developed the passion. I played in high school. I wasn't very good, but I played in high school. And Matt, did you play?
No, I liked girls,
Okay.
and so sports didn't fit my equation. I'm not saying soccer is gay. I love soccer. I'm saying I had a
Soccer
hard
players
time.
are gay.
I had a hard time focusing on sports.
But we refound it as adults after watching a couple World Cups, and then we started to watch the English Premier League, and it's for us to watch the English Premier League is like somebody in Europe or wherever trying to find a team in the NBA to root for. Well, how do you find a team? I mean, it's easy for us to like the Sacramento Kings because that's our hometown team. We're loyal to them. But if you're from, I don't know, China, you're all Rockets fans because you're Yao Ming fans. And if you're from somewhere, you have to find a team. So we had to find a team to root for. And this is the challenge. You guys have to find a team that that we're going to ask you about on future podcasts that you're going to root for.
I didn't know there was going to be homework.
There's going to be homework. And there's going to be one other thing.
We're not saying, we are saying watch the games, but
You just have to pick a team.
just pick a team. We'll tell you.
Well, next time if it gets brought up, we'll get brought up. We'll tell you if you chose correctly.
Well, here's how we'll enlighten you guys how we found our teams. Roy and I were both coaching soccer. I was coaching my younger brother's team. They were the worst rec team ever assembled. They were like the Disney movie team bad without the happy ending.
Oh,
They were just terrible until they all quit playing soccer. And then with the day they all quit, the sport of soccer breathed a sigh of relief.
And you no longer coached.
Yeah, and
youth soccer.
Well, yeah, I coached them for 4 or 5 years, and then I actually started coaching high school soccer, and I coached varsity girls and JV boys soccer right now in high school. In fact, we're starting tomorrow with the girls. We're starting conditioning. You were coaching Ellen's team at the time.
Yep, my daughter's
Yeah,
team.
so Roy's coaching Ellen's team. So we're like, well, we talk about soccer every day. We email each other articles about coaching and systems, and we were really into it, and we were nerds. We're like, we don't follow it. So we first wanted to follow
Arsenal.
No, we were going to follow Real Madrid because they had Zidane, and and then we realized that that's Spanish speaking, and we don't speak any Spanish, so
We
it
couldn't
was
follow
stupid.
the games.
So we were going to like Arsenal because we were both big fans of Thierry Henry, and he played
He's phenomenal.
He played for Arsenal, and he was great, and he had great YouTube clips.
Which is how we knew a lot of soccer stuff, was YouTube clips.
We literally would do this. We would play FIFA on Xbox, find out names, and then go to YouTube and look them up.
Yep.
And be like, oh, he's good. I like him. That's how I came to love Zidane. And then in the World Cup, we were watching the World Cup. This is 2-3 World Cups ago when Wayne Rooney was playing for England. And this name means nothing to you, but I'll draw you the picture. I had a roommate at the time. He played rugby in college, 6'5", 250 he's like a bear. And he talks about how soccer players are all sissies and they're terrible. And he was a kickboxer. He's a very tough human being. I'm the opposite of that. But I'm trying to convince him to like soccer. And Wayne Rooney gets mixed up and there's fouls and the ball is rolling around. In the process of these players getting tangled up, a player's laying on the ground behind him, and he reaches back and clearly with intent stomps on the guy's junk.
Right on his pieces.
Right on his pieces. And I believe in England it's twig and berries, according
Maybe.
to
Twig and berries is a common term, yes.
In England?
Movies.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I've got a couple of friends from that area.
We've
They
all
use it
seen.
frequently.
We've seen Austin Powers. We know what
Yeah,
England's
come
like.
on. But
This makes my team pick really funny.
so Wayne Rooney stomped nuts. And
Let me just ask. Tottenham, right?
No, it's actually Wayne Rooney, Manchester United.
nice.
Because when I was thinner,
I feel like you're stepping on my story right
I
now.
know. I'm sorry. People actually used to think that I looked like him when I was a couple pounds thinner. So I've always identified with him of all soccer players. It was really funny.
Well, he stomps nuts. So do you consider yourself that aggressively competitive?
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Roy text messaged me and he goes, "Did you see the nut stomp?" And I was like, "Who does he play for?" A quick internet search later, we became Manchester United fans based strictly on a nut stomp.
Awesome.
Yep. That's it. And we had no idea that they were like a good team. And it turns out they're like one of the best teams. And they have this huge, long history. And people call them the Yankees. And we're like, we know what the Yankees are about. They're not the Yankees. The Yankees just buy players. United has a kind of a farm system, so to speak, an academy system, and
they buy young players and
they
create
build players. And so, anyway, they're just a really good team, and that's how we came to like Manchester United.
And they have a center back named Vidic, who's Serbian. And if you get his autobiography, the tagline on the autobiography says, "I come from Serbia, and I'll effing murder ya." So
that's it. How do you not like that guy?
how do you not say you? He's actually my wife's favorite player. She, my wife is better at soccer than me, which took me a few years to openly admit that. But she played in college, and she was a center back, and by all accounts from people who played with her, she was the meanest player who's ever played the game.
So I've been trying to get my kids to go over and learn from Kelly, and we call it learning the dark arts from Kelly. All right, so in conclusion, we're going to have a few things that we've talked about. You got to have homework, Jake.
I got to find a soccer team to appreciate.
Logan, you already have one.
I'm good.
Matt, you had one more
Overachiever.
a homework assignment
I do
for
have one
us
more homework assignment
that
for
we talked about
all of
earlier.
us. Yeah, we are going to have some sort of adventure this week. Not as a
Like a play date?
not as a team.
A challenge,
an
if you
individual-
will.
I will.
All of a sudden
I
I'm
will.
let down.
You
We
should.
will. So
That you have to report back
Logan,
on.
Jake, the intern, Roy, Matt, we're all going to have an adventure of some sort to report back on.
I've slayed a mouse thing. I am going to slay something else this week, and
It
I
has
will
to be
tell you
bigger.
about it.
And I'm going to edit this.
You're going to edit. That's
You
your
have the
challenge.
biggest adventure.
I've got the biggest
And
adventure
which,
of all.
and what's your adventure?
Mine's going to be a complete surprise.
Yours is a surprise. Jake, do you have an adventure?
I'm not going to eat healthy.
Jake is going to probably try to see a movie.
Well, we'll see about that.
All right.
Jake,
We
your
wanna-
adventure will be Point Break.
Oh, that is your adventure. That's your assignment. You have to watch Point
All right.
Break.
I'll
On
try.
Netflix.
I'll see what I
Excellent.
can find.
Well, thank you for listening. We want to thank our one sponsor that we have, which is Castle Copy, who has taken us to lunch, and you will probably take us out to lunch again.
Castle
and
Copy,
for
for
all
all your
those
copy
who
needs.
want to give us some feedback, once again, valhallarising@gmail.com. I'm Matt. I guess I'm Roy.
Special shout out to Ninth Row Media Production.
Oh, thank you again.
I'll close it up with that in a minute afterwards.
Okay,
Thank you again, Ninth Row Media. I'm Roy,
I'm Matt.
and until we see you again, take care.
This has been a Ninth Row Media production. You can find this at ninethrowmedia.com under podcasts.